okay. It's just Igor. What do you expect? What do you expect from Igor? You know? If you get a type of what Igor is saying, imagine the other way. So, suppose that's what he's saying. You have no proof, it's you. Would you accept this, you have no proof, as any valid criticism? Or no? Somebody tells something and says you have no proof. You accept this as a criticism. Or you don't know. And by the way, if you ever listen to discussion, it's a very typical argument being used. You have no proof of what you're saying. You ever heard it? Is it a valid argument or not? You have no proof. If you don't know, say, I don't know. Huh? I'll count to 10. Huh? If you don't say 10, you need something? Oh, you're scared. Yeah. No, don't be scared. It's okay. I'm here. I'll protect you. Okay?
Really?
Okay, 1. Okay, say I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, fine. Some people, I use the number or something. Some people you can wait 2 days and 2 nights. You know. So I don't know. Sometimes it's difficult. So who wants to say on this idea? You have no proof. If you should accept it or not as an argument, raise your hand. Yes, Nelson.
The person also has no proof to say.
Nelson. You have no proof. You accept this as an argument.
No.
Why not?
Because there's no proof to say the contrary.
Yes, and is it possible to prove the other one has no proof?
Because he's not saying
Is
it.
it possible
Yes, it is.
to prove the other one has no proof? Yes? How do you do this? How can you prove someone has no proof?
Because he's not proving it.
You know, he's not proving it, but does that prove he has no proof?
No.
What could be possible to say? What would be possible to say in this case? Anyone? Yeah?
What proof do you have?
Well, that's the question. It's not a criticism anymore. Who's the criticism?
Then you have to give some proof.
Yeah, you tell him what to do.
Yeah.
It's not a criticism. You tell him what to do. Yes, Anna?
There is no argument in the statement.
There's no argument in this statement. But suppose you tell him, is that a criticism to show something is false by saying there's no argument in the statement?
No.
No. So therefore, is that a criticism of the content?
No.
In other words, should it make the person say, there's a problem there? Or he's not, right? And that's, by the way, called reversal of the charge. You know, in justice, reversal of the charge. Question, who has to prove, right? Now it's funny, according to different systems, in some judicial systems, person is guilty a priori. He has to prove he's not guilty, right? And others, you know, it's the reverse, right? He's not guilty a priori, and the accusation has to prove he's guilty, right? And in this case, it is a reversal of the charge, right? In other words, you know, you have to prove it's false, but not tell him you have no proof and always bring you the proof, right? And it's a very typical thing. People say, okay, you know, you prove your point. No. If you want to prove I'm wrong, you got to prove I'm wrong. Not tell me that I have no proof or stuff like that. It's your job. You cannot do, and the reversal of the charge, you know, like Romeo said, you're cheating on me. And she says, prove to me you're not cheating on me. Well, you know, how can you prove you're not cheating on me? You know, it's impossible, right? And it's almost sophistry, right? The reversal of the charge, right? You know, or you have another one like this. You cannot prove the opposite. Well, it doesn't matter. Logic doesn't change anything. It's not because you cannot prove the opposite that this is true, right? So this proof thing is used very often in a rhetorical way. You know, the only thing that's valid is Here's a proof that you're wrong. But all this stuff about you have not having proof, that's not an argument. I mean, you can say that it's like an proof, but it's not a reason to refuse a statement. Right? Except as a formal thing that you're supposed to give an argument, you didn't give it. But it doesn't prove in any way that this is false, right? And here, the business here was to give a criticism to say this is not always true for some reason. Okay? We good with that? And so watch these things. These are used a lot. Rhetorical tricks. Yeah.
Can you repeat with less words why we cannot accept you don't have proof?
Okay. Who wants to do it? Raise your hand. Raise your hand again. Oh, you draw it too.
We cannot accept you have no proof, because by saying that we're not objecting the statement, but we reverse the charge, meaning we make the other responsible to prove his statement. So it's not an objection.
Okay.
Okay, good?
Yes, good.
And you've heard this before?
Yes.
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 And I give you the absurd case where you have to prove you're not cheating it. Okay?
Yes.
Besides creating paranoia, I don't see what it does, right? All right. So, anyway, so let's go back to the other arguments. You had a statement about this. If you had raised your hand, right? So we just can conclude this. So, do you think that the guy, the woman, is right to refuse a criticism or no?
Sorry, I had no, sorry.
Okay. Who wants to add the last argument before we judge here? Okay, Nelson, and then we move on. Yeah.
Remembering is not thinking, or memory is not the same.
No, first of all, do you think he should accept the criticism or no?
No.
No. Why not?
Because he's using memory as the same as thought.
Yes,
and it could be different.
Okay.
It could be
All
something.
Right. So, the person here refused a criticism. I'll put it in two ways. First of all, if you agree with the refusal, and second, if you agree with the argumentation of his refusal. Let's split it. Because earlier we had this problem where we agree with the refusal, but not his argumentation. Remember? You know? Who agrees with the refusal of the argumentation of the critic? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who thinks no, he should have accepted the criticism? 1, 2, 3. So majority accept. Now, of the ones who agree with him, just because the others, you know, who agrees with his argumentation, raise your hand. Who does not? Raise your hand. Okay, so even that, the group is split. Okay, all right. But again, like I say, what's important is not so much the conclusion, but the analysis, the process we go through to examine statement, criticism, answers, this kind of stuff, right? Decompose, right? And then you find out how people think. So, let's move on. Another one. Who has found a problem with what you have read? Yes. So, let's see. Who can speak much? Okay, Yolanda. Which one?
Everyone can think.
Everyone can think. What?
That's where you're going. If I can think, everyone can think.
Who says that? What is a criticism?
Brain deaf people do not think.
Okay.
Brain? Sorry, can you?
Brain
deaf.
deaf
No, it's not
people,
brain dead.
Brain dead.
people with
Okay.
brain deaf
Supposedly.
do not think.
Sorry.
The objection is? No.
Brain dead people do not think. Did the person accept that criticism or no?
No.
He did not. He refused it.
Yes.
Did he say the reason?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it said, how do you know?
I told you see? It's actually a classical one. It's so cheap. You can tell anybody that, you know? Or you're like, Many people say, you know what the question? Are you really sure? You know, I tell teachers, I kill you if you ask that again. Are you really sure? Chances something. Are you really sure? You know, so the child generally says, oh, the teacher does not agree with me. That's what it means. So no, maybe you know, it's terrible. This kind of question. You know, but it's used a lot. Teachers use it all the time, especially when they disagree. Are you really sure?
And have no argument.
Huh?
Disagree and have no argument.
Something like that. Are you really sure? Okay. I call it the argument of uncertainty. The argument of uncertainty, right? You know, to be uncertain. Well, where's the argument there? To be uncertain proves nothing, right? And especially in a philosophy workshop where nothing a priori is supposed to be sure. You know, not even that we're here. So anyway, but let's not worry too much. This one now is obvious, I guess, for everybody, the answer. But just on the, let's focus on the criticism and to see if you should accept it or not. Let's just make a little poll. Who thinks the criticism is acceptable? Raise your hand. Who thinks it's not? Raise your hand. Who is perplexed? Raise your hand. What is your difficulty?
What are you working on? Which part of the...
Well, we dropped the answer because we sort of dealt with it, right? The argument, really sure. But just the criticism. If the criticism fits or doesn't fit. If the criticism problematizes the initial statement or no.
Brain that people cannot think.
So you would agree with that criticism?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, okay. You were just repeating.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got that you
No.
were agreeing. Okay, no. But you don't agree with that. You think it's a wrong criticism.
Yeah.
Yes? Why?
Because they can think.
Really?
How do you know?
Are you really sure? No. Yes. Do you have any proof of that?
No, that's the best I can do, I'm afraid.
So, but you realize that in our business, if you have no proof, you cannot say that, right? So you're in the I don't know category.
At usual, yes.
You believe so what? You're in the I don't know. And you believe you don't know.
I believe I don't know.
Are you sure that you think? I like it. It's fun. All right. So who has a reason to? And how about you? Why did you vote?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
All right. What's your problem? How come you don't know?
Because I have no certain knowledge.
Yeah, see, but you see the problem with certain. We're not asking you for certain. We're asking you to make a judgment, to think. You see, that's the problem. You get into the certainty business. You know, so I'm not sure. Well, good. There's a psychologist taking care of that. You know, he deals with insecure people. But here we don't care. We want you to make a judgment, and you agree with the idea to make a judgment. You don't have to be sure. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
And that's the difference with knowledge. Knowledge, people say certainty. And that's why our business, when I go to school, I say, we're not here into knowledge business. We're in the thinking business. You see? And knowledge might be used, but that's not the essence. So which judgment do you make? That it's a good criticism or no?
Good criticism.
Why?
Because it problematizes the initial statement in its category.
How does it do it though? Explain.
It brings more concrete category.
Well, see, more is comparative. So where compared to what?
Okay, it brings concrete category into
Okay, it brings a category.
yeah,
Which is the category it brings?
brain dead people.
And before, what was going on before that?
Before there was no category.
There was no category. So when there's no category, what is that called?
General.
Oh, universal, right?
Yeah.
No category, just universal.
Okay.
Everybody does, right? And then he brings categories.
Yeah.
And that category he brings, does it go against the general statement?
Yes, it does.
How do you know?
Because it denies the generalization.
By doing what?
By negating its possibility.
Yes, but go through now the content. How does it do this? Explain. Like if I did not understand those two sentences, explain.
The first sentence, through generalization,
Yeah, but what did it talk? It talks about the cats, that all cats are black. What does it do? Explain to us. Be generous.
okay, it says that everyone are able to think.
Okay, so all cats can think.
Yes,
Oh, so this means all cats can think, right?
it refers to people.
Ah, okay, well, you know, are words costly in Croatian?
No.
You pay every time you say a word? Okay, just try, be a bit generous, you know. Some people have to say, oh, don't be so generous. Be a bit more generous. Like, I'm a child. Explain to me what's going on here. Yes.
Okay, first sentence states that every people is able to think.
Okay, every people, meaning every what?
Every human being.
Every human being can think, right? Okay, first thing, every human being can think.
Yes.
Yes, then.
The second statement states that there are some people who are not able to think.
Okay, what you call the category.
Yes.
Okay, now what is specific about that category?
The specific is that people who are in that category have some kind of disability towards thinking.
How does he call it?
Brain dead.
Brain dead.
Yeah.
Do you think brain dead implies not thinking?
Yes.
Yes. So, therefore, you accept that.
Yeah.
Okay, good?
Yeah.
All right, so you think it's a good criticism.
Yeah.
Who agrees with him? It's a good criticism. Raise your hand. Who refuses it? Raise your hand. Why you refuse it?
I don't see the causality between brain and thinking. Brain dead and thinking.
Brain dead and thinking. You don't see any relation between brain dead and thinking.
Yes, but yeah, I do.
You see one?
Yeah.
Which one?
Brain requires thinking.
Brain requires thinking, yes? Could it be the reverse?
Thinking requires brain. Okay, yeah.
No, because I've seen a brain in a formal can, and after listening to you, I was going to go back to it to see if it's thinking. I never thought about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, yeah. Thinking requires a brain.
Okay, and then? What about it?
Then it follows that in order to think, you need a brain.
So far, so good, I think.
And if you don't have a functional one, at that one, you can't think.
Okay, so is it that for thinking, is it only that you need a brain? Or a special kind of brain? Yeah, I'm just asking the words you used yourself already, yeah? No, not asking you to find a genius. When I do this, you'll start thinking, no, don't think, you've said it, you've said something about it. What kind of brain you need to think?
You don't need a special kind of brain.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I listened to you, my friend, and it seemed to me you've changed your mind.
Yeah.
Who has heard what kind of brain you need to think according to previous? Ask someone, what kind of brain you need?
What kind of brain do you need?
Not dead.
No, but he used not a negation, he used another word.
I said adequate.
No. Who heard the word he used? Ask somebody.
Oh, the word he used.
Functional?
Functional.
Functional. Do you remember you said that?
I did.
How come you don't know?
Because I see a contradiction. A brain
No.
is...
So you don't know what... Look, how funny. You don't know what you say because you see a contradiction. Isn't that lovely? No, just listen. I know it sounds weird, but just listen to it. I don't know what I said because I see a contradiction. Funny or not?
It's funny.
Yeah. By the way, it must sound great. It's very common. Very common. Who can explain that strange sentence? Who can explain it? Ask somebody to explain that strange sentence.
I think the sentence, I don't know what I said because I found a contradiction, refers to I'm afraid to face the contradiction.
But whose contradiction is he talking about?
Of own thinking.
Whose?
The contradiction in own thinking.
Whose? His?
Yes, his.
So he saw the contradiction in his thinking?
Yes.
Is that where you saw the contradiction? In your thinking? Or in another thinking? Or you don't know?
In another thinking.
Ah, his, see?
Oh, well.
That's what I was suspecting. So who can explain this strange sentence? Raise your hand. Ask somebody else.
Alexei?
When the person says it, it means his focus is on another person's speech and his
But
feeling.
what about, what does he see in that person's speech?
Something he doesn't like.
Something he doesn't like, right? And therefore, what does he do then about himself?
He doesn't listen to himself.
He doesn't listen to himself. That's hyper-classical. You say, I don't agree with this person. Really? You know? I say, what did you say? I don't remember what I said. Very often, people are focused on what something is with very impressionistic, and actually they don't listen to themselves. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. And that's very interesting about how the way the mind focuses, right? And you'll say, so what did, or I say, even they don't listen to the other end. Why do you disagree with him? I don't know, but I don't agree with him. It seems like this emotional focus on disagreement makes the mind forget, the mind. Right? So anyhow, so you forgot, you said it needs a functional brain. Right? If the brain, so it's not any kind of brain function. So if it's not functional, does it think? If the brain is not functional, does it think?
No.
No. So then, is it functional?
No, it's not functional.
So, are you okay with the fact brain dead people don't think?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
You look sad about it. You know, is something bothering you? You have a brain dead friend, and you know you don't like that he doesn't think or something.
No, it's not that.
What bothers you in the statement then?
Nothing bothers me in the statement.
But you know, it's visible. There's something going on in your head, right? You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's visible. So what's going on?
I can't formalize it.
Wow, you're like
Or formulate it. Formulate it, sorry.
pure emotions.
I think so, yeah.
You get emotional like this.
Yeah?
Okay, and you don't know what about. So this statement triggers something, a storm in your head, and you don't know what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's possible, you know. And this happens to you with other things?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as you know, that's the main thing, right? But try to identify some point, what's happening, you know? Is it the content? Is it because of the content? Is it because of the fact suddenly you have to think? What is it? You know, in other words, that's what Spinoza invites you to do, to be active about these things, to reason about it, not just to be passive. You know, passion and then it stops with thinking. Make sense? Okay. All right. So, who then, who agrees with that criticism then, that criticism is fine, you know? Raise your hand.
Sorry.
Who accepts the criticism in red? Who accepts it? Raise your hand. Huh?
It's wrong.
No, who accepts it? Who think that criticism is fine, it's true, that brain dead people don't think, therefore the statement doesn't go. Okay, put your hand down. Who does not accept it? Okay. Igor and Nelson. Okay, so Igor,
Can I add another criticism?
Well, no, because we finished this one.
No, to the same
Yeah.
statement,
But
because I find it interesting that this wasn't responded. The criticism was, who is everyone?
Yeah, but that's, first of all, that's something else.
Well, to the same question,
Yes,
to the same
do you agree
statement.
that's
Mhm.
another angle, all right? Yeah.
Yes, another
You
angle.
can connect them, but still it's another criticism, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So why you don't accept it, Igor?
By the way, I changed my mind because the.
No, wait, change your mind.
No, I thought I accepted before.
Oh, and now you don't.
And now I don't. Yeah.
Why not?
Because the concept brain dead doesn't fit anyone.
Ah, okay. Wait a minute.
Okay, understand?
No, I want to get the formal thing. So if we take Zoran's interpretation, that category that he called a category of everyone,
Yeah,
which Zoran included in the everyone, right?
yeah,
It's a type of everyone.
yeah.
You say, no, that category is excluded from everyone.
Yes.
Okay, now, independently of what you think, if it belongs or does not belong, what's interesting here is that structural problem. That's why I insisted on Zoran to be more generous, because that's a very typical structure of objection. Is the category defined, named, part of the initial statement, or if it's excluded from the initial statement? And here we have a problem. So let's deal with that, just that. Why that category is included, why it's excluded. Why do you consider this category is excluded? It's outside of everyone.
Because if we use the category everyone, we speak about personality.
Personality.
Yeah, I mean.
Persons.
Yeah, persons. And
Okay, what you say? Everyone means every person.
Yes.
Are brain dead people persons?
No.
Ah, well, you see, there we go. Why not?
Because they have no conscience anymore.
Okay, they have no conscience. Do they have a social security number?
No.
They don't. I don't in Russia, in France, until you go to the cemetery, you have a social security. You know that? You don't have the same system. In Russia, you're brain dead, they take away your social security number. Is that it?
I don't know.
Well, do you have social security number in?
No, I don't have.
Ah, okay. Well, let's put something else. The cultural determination. For us in France, it's like that's the must, you know? First thing you get a social security number, otherwise you don't exist. You know?
We're much more deeper.
But do people, when they're born, they have a name, a family name and first name? We're good?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yes? But you're going to tell me when they're dead too, but anyway. So, okay, but anyway, let's go with that. So this is not a person,
Mm-hmm.
because a person needs consciousness.
Yeah.
All right. And everyone means every person, person means consciousness. We're good?
Yeah.
We understand the Igorian system. Who accepts here the Igorian system? Raise your hand. Who refuses it? Raise your hand. Ask someone, Igor, why you refuse my system?
From.
They were stuttering it. From, yes.
Because it doesn't, it isn't specified that the person should. I'm not clear, so I prefer to.
Okay. Who can answer Igor? Raise your hand. Who disagrees with that? Choose someone, Igor. Okay, why don't you go with Zoran? He doesn't-
Oh yeah, Zoran. Yeah.
And that was his
Yeah,
dating,
that's-
yeah.
Well, I think that a person could be just another category of everyone.
Ah, so what he called what he called definition,
Yeah.
he introduced a new category.
Yeah.
And this category is defined by what? This person? What? Remember how he called them?
Yeah, he called him conscious.
Conscious, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
So now we have the two categories of everyone, the brain-dead people and the conscious people, right? And what is in everyone? Everyone, and if we have two categories.
We said that everyone was just a generalization of.
No. What is everyone? Is what all the cats.
Sorry?
What is everyone? Who are we referring to with everyone?
To every human being.
Every human being,
Exactly.
no matter if he's conscious or not.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Do you think, Igor, everyone refers to every human being or to every conscious human being? And every conscious human being, then the first is only a category. So every human being or every conscious human being?
I think no.
No, you cannot see. A and B, you cannot say no. You say A or B.
Everyone does not.
No, I don't know what it does not. See? Why? See? That's funny. When people do this, that means this is really a problem. That's, the question is bothering them. So everyone, every conscious human being or every human being?
Every conscious human being.
All right. So you go for the reduced definition, right? Restrictive, right? Yes or no? You go for the restrictive interpretation of everyone.
Yes.
Restrictive,
yes.
only
yes.
conscious,
yes.
everyone, and large. We're
Yes.
good? That's always a choice. I don't know if was with you, I had this discussion the other day. Restrictive and then large. Remember? Acceptation. Yes, it was a package deal only taking the good or the good universe. This is very typical of issues between people. And many discussions, people say, yeah, la 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 la. Just look, it's simply, do they have an enlarged or reduced interpretation of something? A very classical one. Do you like that problem?
Yes.
But you want to speak about something else?
No, I want to ask about this very.
Go ahead.
Because now you bring the next category, human being.
No, that's his.
Yeah, and treat it as equal to everyone. So
yes, well that's Zoran's proposal.
That's just explanation of this word, everyone. That's not a new category. That's explanation what everyone means.
Yes.
So it means every human being, every living human being.
You okay?
Okay.
Huh? Everyone, huh? He added a new criteria. Who heard, by the way, the new criteria he added? You heard it?
Yeah.
Which one?
Living.
Living.
Yeah.
Huh? See, funny, again it was implicit. And now, boom, it comes out. Well, who thought about dead people? Not only brain dead, but dead, Huh? And one could say, everyone can think, well, dead people don't eat, for example. Now, can we exclude dead people from everyone? Is your dead grandmother someone or no one? Interesting problem. Yes? Yeah? That's why it's interesting. See, a word, how implicit, takes place, right?
But
Huh? What?
can you say dead people, or do you have to say dead bodies then?
What about who looks more like a person? Who looks more like a person? A dead body or a dead person? Who looks more like someone? Because you hear dead body connotations like, pick it up, throw it in the garbage sort of thing. Dead body. Yes?
Is there any similarity with the first case we analyzed, that we are focused on the meaning of the word mortal in the first case and in the meaning of the word everyone?
Yes.
There are similarities.
Yes, of course. That's the point of how you give, what interpretation you give to the word. And is it acceptable? What is acceptable, what is not? What is plausible, what is probable? Depending on what you want to do, Yeah. Yes. But at least, anyhow, is it possible to take everyone, Igor, as all human beings? Is it possible?
yes.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
In that case, can we accept the criticism?
Sure.
So you accept the criticism?
Yeah.
Okay. Who still refuses the criticism for some reason? Raise your hand. Okay, somebody, why?
It's because it said everyone can think.
Yes?
Maybe there is a possibility, and there is possibility that some people's not going to use to think.
Yes, so some people can do it or do it, not do it,
Yeah,
right?
so
Now, does that possibility apply to brain dead people?
yeah.
Yes? So they can think too.
No,
Sometimes they do,
no,
sometimes they don't.
No, when somebody said everyone can think,
Yeah?
in a sentence, implicit, there is some people don't use their ability
Yes,
of
some
thinking.
people don't. But the ones that don't, can they?
No.
Oh, they cannot.
So it's kind of
Okay, I understand you say, it says everyone, and it's not everybody is thinking, but they can think, right? Now the question is, as a group, or that each individual has that possibility?
it's a group.
As a group. So they think it as a group, but you see, everyone. Everyone. So is that possibility given to every member of this group or not?
Yeah.
Yes. That's brain people. They have that possibility?
No.
No. You good?
No.
You give up? All right. Okay, last chance. Who still refuses the criticism? Raise your hand. Okay, why?
Because definition of brain dead is very complex. It's just
Just stop now. Just stop. Definition of brain dead is very complex. Now, wait. Do you accept that kind of argument? Just tell me yes or no. No. Because where is it complex, you think? Where is that definition complex? In the dictionary? In people's head? Or in somebody specific? No. Because this, by the way, this is a typical philosophy professor's argument. Say, this is a very complicated matter. Well, thank you very much. If you have problems with it, we're very glad to know that. But that's your problem, my friend. That's not ours, right? And watch, this is, well, a very intellectual argument. It's very complicated. Or in France, they love it, say, it is more complicated than this. Oh my God, you look so smart when you've said that, and nobody can answer you anything. Einstein comes in, tells me theory of relativity. I say, things are a bit more complicated. What does poor Albert Kitty do? It's just, I'll go back to work. These are terrible arguments. But it's amazing. They work. It works. I don't know of your country, but in France, this one is a killer. There are two ones who are a killer argument in France. The one is, it's more complicated than that. The other one is, I'm not so sure about what you're saying. What can you say to that, You can say nothing. I'm not so sure, but these are killer arguments, I don't know if they are, you know them in France, right? Je ne suis pas si sûr que ça. I'm not so sure, about this, it's killer, right? Who knows these two arguments in their country? Raise your hand. Okay, it looks rather universal. Okay, but I call them intellectual arguments. Intellectual arguments. It's an intellectual rhetoric. Paternalistic beside this, right? My good friend. I think a bit more complicated. Anyhow, I think the others are here for the break. This is just 5 minutes. Comments about the process. You like, you don't like, understand, don't understand, useful, not useful, anything you want. Just try to make some statement about the exercise. Anyone? Zoran?
Liked it. Maybe if we pick some other example, it would be
Louder.
If we had picked another example, it would be a more space for discussion.
You mean pick other different example or have more examples?
Different than this one, last one.
Okay.
But the process itself is.
But every time, what's interesting though, philosophical problems come up, like question of categories, problem of interpretation, problem of generalization, yes, I agree. And you will find, yes, they were a bit close, but okay. Yes?
I like the exercise, and I was kind of interesting for me to see how much we got to the exploring of concepts from, in a way, this logical kind of approach.
Yes. So it's true things are complex. Trying to be nice to them.
Morbid.
Yes. Once there was a little girl told me this very nice thing. Says, you know, in this work we look at the inside of words. That was we look at the inside of words. You know, something like that. Yeah, I agree. Any other comment or question? Yes, Lena?
Like the exercise, and I think it's very useful to know this kind of arguments, like I'm not sure, do you have a proof? you don't have a proof, it's very useful.
Right, sure, in a very practical way, because it totally falsifies discussion. It's not real discussion, it's rhetoric, and very often it blocks discussion, that's it. It's just, you know, it's just a way to set people away, right? So to be able to, like when, what's the word in English, when there's a bomb lit and you take away to do this, what the other word, you know? You undo the bomb, you stop the bomb.
Disarm?
Disarm, yeah. You disarm the bomb, right? You know, anyway. Any other comment or question, yes?
I find very useful in this exercise the idea and the way of stretching the concepts, you know, until where you can stretch it, and it clearly shows also how many prejudgments there are in the sentence.
Preconception.
So it's very interesting, either in thinking more creatively or with more flexibility without bullshitting, and in understanding what is told to us and trying to understand it.
Okay. Okay. Who wants to make a comment? We made these 4 comments, then we stop. Yes.
I've also very much liked it, and I found it interesting. We did the same exercise yesterday.
Where? On the other side?
Yes.
Something similar? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know how you see the difference or the likeness, but in order to do this exercise as a facilitator, you cannot just rely on democracy or voting. I think you really also have to know. This is not an exercise.
Knowledge, experience as well, you know. But we do this a number of times. You will sharpen. You will recognize. So of course, experience helps, you know. But as well, it might be slower, but people recognize. So I wouldn't say you have to have all this knowledge. Of course, some elements are useful, but experience can give you that. And reading, I really recommend people as well do so. Yeah. Reading. Yes.
But you could not do this exercise purely on the opinions of people.
I think you can. Yes. I think you can. I've done law, so you make pedagogical parentheses, but I think it's possible. It's slower, things won't be so clear, but you think things will come up.
But the facilitator shouldn't be brain dead.
That's an interesting question. Yes.
I find it also very useful and enlightening, many insights, one of which is that speeches do not belong to those who speak.
For you that's a discovery.
Yeah, that's a discovery for me.
This is really fundamental. This is a disappropriation of speech for different reasons, really, for me, fundamental thing.
And that you cannot rely on your intention as a valid argument for your interpretation of your speech. And all the subsequent work that we did, it helps to see this difference in perceptions or interpretations of which Ivan was talking, which different of people might have, because we rarely have in our life these precise definitions or precise conditions for everything we say and we see, so it's useful.
Last comment, and we're going to stop. Yes, Igor.
For me, it was very interesting that we worked on logical problem, which is formal, but all the time it was a connection with some real life problem. Like the last case is the huge problem of euthanasia and etc. people still doubting on it, and so and that idea of
these people,
these people, that's really impressive how the logic structure connected, which is like just use it as an example, and it's
you're gonna put
useful.
fetus. Fetus says, don't think, see what happens. All right, good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Not good, Sunday.